My name is Kevin Martin. I'm here with the Lake Erie Regional Grape Program today, and I have here with me Jackie Dresser. Jackie, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jackie Dresser, a research technician here at the Cornell Lake Erie Research and Extension Lab. I specialize in all things spatial data, really, acquisition, processing, mapping, and helping people interpret the data.
If you are familiar with our program out near Lake Erie, you've probably heard of NDVI before, which has been something we've been working with sort of lightly in the past. We're on the research side, we're a little bit more involved now. I don't know if that's something you want to sort of introduce, since that's kind of your area of specialty.
Sure. So in our last podcast with Tim Weigel, we introduced NDVI, and we've developed just sort of a flow chart to get people kind of familiar with how to get their feet wet and get into NDVI scanning. So what we wanted to talk about today was, what do you do when you get a map? We talked about what to do to get a map, and now it's, okay, so I have this picture. What does this mean to me? So NDVI is really, at this stage, we've been scanning about a week now. It gives you the relative patterns of basically a surrogate for shoot count. So with this NDVI map, if a grower is willing to do some sampling, we can actually direct you where to go in your vineyard. And we only took 20 samples in about a 4-acre vineyard here. And we can convert that map into a shoot count map. Now, the only thing different on this is the legend. But instead of having NDVI, you have a shoot count, low shoot count up to a high shoot count. And I find it tends to be easier to classify this. So you can see in the red areas here is where you have less than 85 shoots per vine, and in your blue areas you have upwards of 130 shoots per vine. So this provides a really good avenue to fuel decision making, and if you were going to do some shoot thinning, or even to just see what the crop potential patterns in your vineyard are for a given season.
So NDVI was a relative approximation of shoot count this time of year, and you did some directed sampling to get more of an absolute measurement?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, with the directed sampling, we're able to actually translate an NDVI map, which is relative, into an absolute map that is more beneficial to a grower to know.
So this might be more of a viticultural question, but once you have that map and you've done that directed sampling, what kind of decision making would you change, or what would you do differently?
Well, it kind of depends. In this vineyard, the vines are very healthy, so it makes sense to just kind of take that shoot count into an even point. So we're going to actually implement some variable rate shoot thinning here, and in the areas where there's high shoot count, we're going to take them down to about 100 shoots a vine. And then in the lower part where they're around 100 already, we're going to leave them alone.
Okay. So in addition to shoot thinning, I think we discussed with a grower the other day about other ways to use at least NDVI. And I think really what this all boils down to, and maybe it's just my own personal bias, is we're really trying to get growers to operate more efficiently and to find ways that there's a monetary advantage in production by managing different parts of their vineyard differentially within a block. So we talked about tile drainage and how the NDVI map was actually used to create a business case for investing in that drainage. So there wasn't really going to be a lot of differential management going on per se, but it was enough information to provide an analysis that justified an investment across the entire block. So there are a lot of different ways you can use this information.
Yeah, and a great thing to start with now, if you've never had NDVI, is you're just laying a baseline so that you can see if the management changes you make in the future are having an impact, which I think is probably the most valuable reason to start now, even if you don't have variable rate technology in your vineyard yet.
Yeah, so in that particular example, now that we know he's probably going to install drainage, we have some scans from 3 years ago and some more NDVI scans from 2 years ago. And so now going forward, we'll be able to see how those patterns change, if they change, and what that means for his bottom line as that drainage gets installed and hopefully vineyard health improves.
And we have loaner sensors, so give us a call. We'll send a tech out to do the install for you, and all you have to do is push a button. So it's a great time to start now.
If you have any questions about this technology or other viticultural questions, hit us in the comments down below. We want to thank you for joining us, and we'd really like to get in your vineyards with some of these sensors. So give us a call for any of those reasons. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.